how's it going everyone? Welcome back to a brand new video, and today this is a special one. Now, you know that Gen 10 will be coming out in 2027, so that means we've gotten a lot, and I mean a lot, of anticipations to come once we get the some more details on the games, like what kinds of new Pokemon that we're going to get, or what gym leaders are we going to face, and what returning Pokemon will return as regulars or regional forms. But there is this one anticipation that every Pokemon fan has been asking or hoping for a very, very long time. Which Pokemon should get evolutions? So, with that, I came up with a list of the Pokemon that should get evolutions. Some of the Pokemon from recent generations to get some new evolutions, which is termly called the cross-generation evolutions. And what they are is that it's an evolution from a Pokemon from a previous generation to get a new generation evolution, such as Roselia evolving from Gen 3 evolving into Roserade, who is a Gen 4 Pokemon, or Duraludon, the Gen 8 Pokemon, evolving into Archaludon, the final form of Duraludon, and a Pokemon introduced in Gen 9. Plus, with the addition of the regional forms with the exclusive evolution into the few Pokemon that couldn't evolve, or the ones that already have some evolutions, which I call regional evolutions, since it was introduced in Gen 8, like Sirfetch'd, Obstagoon, Sneasler, and Clodsire. Those are the few examples of the final form of the Pokemon that are regional forms that are couldn't be formed from the original, like Hoenn and Linoon can't evolve, Farfetch'd can't evolve, Sneasel, Jotonian Sneasel evolves into Weavile, and Wooper evolves into Quagsire. But there are still some few possibilities that we could get some more regional forms, with some few getting some regional evolutions. But the ever since Gen 7, the regional forms were also another anticipated thing for the Pokemon series. But this is all about new evolutions, either on regional or cross-generation evolutions. So, without further ado, I decided to make a top 5 list, but also give you guys a quick little recap of the last video I did, and that was the top 10 Pokemon that should get regional forms, or the converging counterparts. So without further ado, I cannot wait to do this, because most of these are the ones that I'm hoping for, or some few that a lot of people are hoping for. So without further ado, make sure you guys relax, hit the subscribe button, leave a like, share this with your friends if they are big Pokemon fans, and there are some other Pokemon you're anticipating to get some evolutions in Gen 10, of course. And take a note, just in case, if any of these Pokemon would be the most likely to get an evolution and Pokemon wins and Pokemon waves. Also, have a snack, whatever you feel like you should do while watching this video. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, to start things off, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick recap of the Pokemon that I think should get regional forms, plus a regional evolution, just in case if you needed a reminder of the a reminder or a thing to help you understand what I meant after the top 10 regional forms and what I meant by regional evolutions. I meant like Pokemon that should get some regional forms plus an evolution, much like Obstagoon or Overquill. So, yep. So either way, I'll go on ahead and start off with a quick recap. Starting off with a Watchog regional form plus a regional evolution. I imagined in Watchog's regional form a psychic and normal type, with its regional evolution being a super smart rodent like thing, much like a bigger Watchog. So yep, that's why I picked him for one of the few other regional rodents to get a regional form plus a regional evolution. Number 3, a Scorpy regional form plus a regional evolution, since there are many kinds of scorpions, and I think Scorpy would be the perfect bug type and Gen 4 Pokemon that should get a regional form. Plus, I thought of a really interesting idea for a regional evolution of Scorpy, sort of like a bigger and flatter Drapion, but a different kind, sort of like Clodsire. But either way, I think Scorpy would be a great bug in Gen 4 Pokemon to get a regional form. Number 2, Mawile, the regional form with a regional evolution. And yes, I know she has a Mega Evolution, but I think it would be really great if Mawile got an actual evolution, but would need to get a regional form first and then get a regional evolution. But either way, I think Mawile, a regional Mawile with a regional evolution would be really cool in Gen 10. And number 1 is a Furret regional evolution, since Sentret is my favorite regional rodent, and I think Furret and Sentret would be great to have a regional form. Plus, with a regional evolution to follow the same traits like with Obstagoon. And I thought it would be cool if a regional Sentret and Furret would be like ground normal or fighting normal, depending on how the culture would go for a regional Sentret and Furret with a regional evolution. But either way, really hoping for a regional form of Sentret and Furret with a regional evolution as well. And now for the Pokemon that I think they should get evolutions in general. I mean, like, without any regional forms, because of we have been getting back into the cross generations ever since Gen 8 with Legends Arceus, since we were introduced with Weirdeer, Kleavor, and Ursaluna, the brand new evolutions introduced in Gen 8 that were all cross-generation evolutions with Stantler, Scyther, and Ursaring, which I was not expecting a Ursaring evolution in, since I thought Ursaring was already pretty clever, but guess he followed the same trait like Rhydon or Magmar. But yeah, these are the Pokemon in general that should get some new evolutions, even without the regional forms. I mean, like a cross-generation evolution, something like that. So without further ado, let's get started on this part of the video. Number 5 is Onix. Okay, so I know what you're wondering, but what about Steelix? And yeah, I totally understand. Steelix is actually a pretty cool and clever evolution for Onix, as the body becomes harder as steel, of course. But Onix, along with Scyther, are evolved with a metal coat, and since Scyther evolves into Cleavor with a stone thing, I thought it was a clever idea for Scyther to have a Stone Age or a prehistoric evolution, and like Cleavor, as Scizor is more like the futuristic or modern day evolution for Scyther. And I thought it would be a pretty cool idea for Onix, since they are kind of counterparts with the Metal Coat evolution. Like, imagine Onix getting a new evolution and that is taking place in the past, since the Metal Coat wasn't invented yet. But either way, I can imagine a brand new evolution for Onix. Maybe either a diamond shaped or an ice-shaped body for Onix, since diamonds did came from rocks or the ground, and it would totally match the idea of the crystal Onix from the Pokemon anime. So yeah, I think a new evolution for Onix, like a crystal or a diamond evolution, or a ice body form for Onix would be a really cool idea. So that's why I decided to add him on this list. Number 4 is Charcadet. And yes, I know about Armarouge and Ceruledge, but hear me out. Imagine Charcadet getting a third evolution, like a third branch evolution, sort of like with Eevee, of how he has so many branch evolutions, or Tyrogue, depending on which Hitmons you would evolve it, like Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan, and recently in Gen 2, there was Hitmontop. So imagine Charcadet getting a third branched evolution featuring another weapon feature, since Armarouge is based out of the armor, shields, and the cannons, and Ceruledge is all about all range attacks and damage like swords. I imagine a Charcadet evolution to have the feature of a bow and arrow. You know, like one side would have the bow and the other would shoot arrows. So I could imagine a third branch evolution for Charcadet to come along with the other evolutions for Ceruledge and Armarouge to be a fiery warrior trio. So yeah, that's why I also added Charcadet, because I think a third branch evolution would be a perfect choice for Charcadet in Gen 10. Number 3 is the one Gen 9 Pokemon that I was hoping to get a new evolution, but remained as it got a pre-evolution instead, and that's Grafaiai. Okay, so when I first saw Grafaiai, I thought it was a pretty interesting poison monkey, and I thought for its cool evolution, I thought it would evolve into a fierce mandarin or a baboon with a painting fingers in its tail, since it is a painting based Pokemon. But nope, it just got a pre-evolution, and to be honest, I was very disappointed. So that's why I'm hoping in Gen 10 that Grafaiai gets an evolution that is deserved, because this looks like a Pokemon that needs an evolution for sure. Because of looking at this, it doesn't really look that appealing, and yeah, I just felt like Grafaiai needed a better evolution rather than a pre-evolution. So my fingers are crossed for Grafaiai to get a evolution in Pokemon Winds and Pokemon Waves. Number 2 is the one Pokemon that we've always wanted to get an evolution for a very long time, but never gotten the chance. Zero, zip, nothing. I mean, she never really gotten an evolution. She just stayed the same throughout the entire years. I'm talking about Jinx, of course. I mean, I'm not really a big fan of Jinx per se, but to be honest, I really felt like Jinx needed a proper evolution, and because of it's not really the greatest looking Pokemon, but I really felt like Jinx needed an evolution. So, yep, that's why I add her up higher in this list. I wish she was number one, but I've already picked out the Pokemon that I think it should also get an evolution. But just like all of you, I'm really hoping that Jinx would finally get an evolution in Pokemon Winds and Pokemon Waves. And right before I want to head off to my number one pick, here are some honorable mentions. Starting off with the one Gen 5 Pokemon that everyone hoped to get a new evolution, and that's Maractus. Now, I don't really pay much attention to Maractus, but to be fair, it doesn't really look that great, and I think a new evolution sounds like a pretty good idea for Maractus because of basically it's just a cactus with maraca hands. So yeah, I think a new evolution for Maractus sounds like a pretty clever idea. And two more honorable mentions that I think should get some other evolutions, either depending on regional or cross-gen evolutions, but deserves to get one, and that's Carablast and Shelmet. And just in case if you didn't know, in order for these two to evolve, they have to trade each other, which is a big pain in the butt. And so with that, I thought of these two getting some new evolutions that didn't require to trade with each other, like give them something while getting to keep their Pokemon. Like for example, imagine Shelmet, a giant-sized Kong riding snail with a firing torpedo, sort of like a pirate, and Carablast with a actually I haven't thought of an idea for Carablast. But yeah, it is quite a kind of pain for these two to evolve by training with each other. But I think it would be a very interesting idea for these two to get some evolutions without having to trade each other. Now, I either thought of regional forms for these two, but I could also see them getting some new evolutions that didn't require to trade with them. So you can get some new forms, but not as with Excelgor or Carablast, if you know what I mean. But either way, I think these two deserve to get some new evolutions, depending on if they would be regional or cross-generation. And now for my number one pick. The one Pokemon that I am really hoping that gets a brand new evolution in Pokemon Generation 10. And I think this one would be the perfect choice to get a new evolution. So with that, my number one pick is number one, Granbull. Okay, so I think Granbull deserves to get an evolution for sure, because looking at this Pokemon, it doesn't really look like the brightest fairy typing, not nevertheless a brightest normal typing before Gen 6, and I felt like Granbull should get something better, and I think a new evolution sounds like a great idea for a Granbull, since Primeape wasn't really the brightest fighting type throughout the years, but really got on the spotlight after evolving into a Nalliape. So I would imagine Granbull following the same trait like with Primeape and get a brand new evolution and with the a brand new typing and some higher base stats, plus I imagined a Granbull evolution as a big, fierce bulldog that is either very dark or very fighting. So yeah, I think a brand new evolution for Granbull sounds like a great idea, hence why I decided to add him up at number 1. And with that, those are the top 5 Pokemon that I think should get some evolutions, well, cross-gen evolutions, and with the bonus of the Pokemon that I think should get some regional forms, plus some regional evolutions, and yep, this has been a fun video as I did those other videos to share my discussions and some rumors and some few ideas on the ideas for Gen 10 before we get a lot of more details such as more trailers, more reveals, more details to be added like stories and stuff. So yep, I'm very excited for it. Such a shame that we still have to wait until 2027 and until we get the games, but hopefully the games come out in early 2027, like either in January, February, or March, you know, the first 3 months of the year. So yeah, that's what I'm hoping for Gen 10, like we get some few trailers, like at least 3 or 4 before we get the official games in that specific date. And before I want to go off, here is a quick little recap of all of the anticipations that I'm hoping for in Gen 10, of course. The ones that I have in my list, and so far I've gotten one marked up off, and that is the starter for Gen 10, since I was very disappointed with the Gen 9 Pokemon and I didn't even bother picking one for my team. But I'm very excited to have Gekwa on my team because of the way how she looks and my huge anticipation on how the evolution for Gekwa could be. Right now, I'm anticipating the evolution of Gekwa to be like a Phenomenon-esque evolution, because the way how it looks with the teary dropped eyelids as showed. So yeah, that's what I'm expecting for a Gekwa evolution, but I don't mind. But there are some few others I'm anticipating for Gen 10 for sure, like a awesome poison type Pokemon, or a better one that I can use for my team in Gen 10, since I haven't really used a lot of poison type Pokemon. I've only used 2 so far, and I felt like I should catch up with that typing, so my eyes are set for a cooler or a better poison type Pokemon that I can use for my team, since the Gen 9 poison type Pokemon were slightly disappointing in my honest opinion. Also, I'm hoping for some fossil Pokemon, of course, since we haven't gotten any fossil Pokemon in Gen 9, and we haven't gotten a proper one since the Gen 8 fossils. So I'm hoping for a fossil Pokemon to return in Gen 10, especially a cooler one that I can definitely use for my team as well. Of course, there are some other things like returning Pokemon from previous generations to join the Gen 10 roster, such as Absol, Rapidash, Azumarill, and most importantly, Garganacl, the one Pokemon that I'm hoping to use for my Gen 10 team if none of the fossil Pokemon are neither available or not really that interesting, but I also think that Garganacl is a perfect choice for the culture of Gen 10 region because of the we are surrounded by oceans and beaches, which they contain salt, so I can definitely see Garganacl being ended in the games. Plus, I would also imagine myself having both if the fossil Pokemon did appear in Gen 10 and it had a typing that I can work with, so yep. And of course, there are some few other things that I'm expecting as well, like potentially a fire-type cheetah or a proper cheetah Pokemon, since Liepard is more of a leopard based than a cheetah or a jaguar or based Pokemon. So yeah, I'm hoping for a cheetah based Pokemon. Hopefully a fire type based cheetah Pokemon, because of I think that would be a really cool concept. Plus a little personal, but also since Pokemon is known for basing off the Pokemon creatures from their cultures, especially from the Japanese culture, I would imagine Pokemon making a Pokemon based out of these guys, since Super Sentai came out of Japan. Really sad that they that the show is either on hiatus or ended, but either way, I think it would be a great way for Pokemon to make a Pokemon based out of the Power Rangers / Super Sentai to pay tribute. But either way, those are all of my anticipations that I got in my anticipation list for Gen 10 before and after we get some more details like trailers and stuff, and after the games are released. So without further ado, that is all for today of my Pokemon that deserve to get evolutions, and the conclusion of the 5 Pokemon videos that I will be discussing for Gen 10, of course. Of course, there are some few other things that I would like to talk about, like the some media or spin-offs, but that might be in another time, maybe around in the future of this year, before Gen 10 gets released in 2027. But either way, it would be a great way to celebrate it, as of course Gen 10 will be the marking of the 30 years of Pokemon. Just a little late since it'll be coming out next year, but either way, I cannot wait to play it once it comes out. So yep. And of course, just like with my other videos, I will be doing my team videos for my Pokemon Gen 10 team. So without further ado, make sure you guys subscribe to this channel, because as I'm making this video, I'm on the road to get this channel to 700 subscribers by the end of the year, as my true goal and roadmap is to get this channel to 1,000 subscribers. So I really appreciate it if you guys subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell. Also, of course, leave a like, hit the comment section on 2 things. What are your anticipations for Gen 10, and what Pokemon do you guys think should get evolution in Gen 10? I mean, like cross-generation or regional evolution. So, yep, without further ado, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time, everybody. Bye.
It's me, BDH, but I'm also known as the Brick Dragon Hero. That video was great, huh, Applex? You said it, BBJ. And if you want to see more of the Brick Dragon Hero videos, all you gotta do is subscribe. Follow Brick Dragon Hero on Instagram.
Like for this video.
Share this with your friends.
And comment down below what you think of that video.
And don't forget to check out the last video.
So thanks for watching and have a brick day. Whoosh.